My friends and I had been sharing spooky stories, and one of them mentioned a notorious killer rumored to lurk in the darkest corners of the internet, the dark web killer. As the night wore on, the gruesome tales grew more captivating, and a morbid fascination took hold of me. I decided to delve into the abyss, thinking it was just a way to entertain myself. Little did I know, I was about to embark on a nightmarish journey that would consume me. I started my descent into the digital underworld with the help of a friend who knew his way around the dark web. He installed a VPN, taught me about the importance of anonymity, and provided a list of websites to explore. I felt like a digital detective, ready to uncover the darkest secrets of the internet. My first encounter with the dark web killer was an unsettling experience. I stumbled upon a forum where users discussed his crimes, sharing gruesome details and speculating about his identity. The more I read, the more it felt like I was staring into the void, and the void was staring back at me. A few days later, I received a private message on the forum. It was from an anonymous user with the handle Silent Executioner. The message was cryptic, filled with riddles and obscure references to my personal life. My heart raced as I realized that this person knew things about me that I had never shared online. Terrified, I shut down my computer and tried to convince myself that it was all a sick prank. But the message continued to haunt me, appearing in my dreams like a relentless specter. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. As the weeks passed, the messages from Silent Executioner grew more sinister. He described in gruesome detail the methods he used to choose and eliminate his victims. The chilling part was that his descriptions were always eerily accurate, as if he had an intimate knowledge of the crimes he claimed to commit. I decided to confide in my friend about the messages, hoping he could help me trace the sender's identity. He agreed to help, but the more we dug, the more it seemed like Silent Executioner had covered his tracks expertly. It was as if he was one step ahead of us at all times. My obsession with the dark web killer grew stronger with each message. I couldn't escape the feeling that I was being drawn deeper into his web, that I was becoming a part of his dark narrative. I couldn't resist the urge to continue our conversations, despite the terror that gripped me. One fateful night, as I sat alone in my dimly lit room, a message from Silent Executioner appeared on my screen. It contained a chilling video. In it, a hooded figure stood in a dimly lit room, a terrified person bound and gagged before them. The figure's gloved hands held a gleaming knife. My heart pounded as I watched the horrifying scene unfold. Silent Executioner's voice, distorted and menacing, filled the room as he described the gruesome act he was about to commit. It was a sickening blend of horror and fascination that held me in its grip. I couldn't look away as the knife descended, and the room was filled with the victim's screams. That was the breaking point. I realized I had become a willing participant in this macabre theater of terror. I had allowed myself to be drawn into the abyss, and now it threatened to consume me. I disconnected from the dark web, never to return, and sought therapy to help me cope with the horrors I had witnessed. The nightmares still haunt me, and the memory of Silent Executioner's messages will forever be etched in my mind. I learned the hard way that sometimes curiosity can lead us down the darkest of paths, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs and evil lurks in the shadows of the digital world. I stumbled upon a mysterious corner of the dark web that promised to bring excitement and thrill into my existence. What I didn't realize was that the darkness I was about to embrace would consume me in unimaginable ways. It began with a late-night conversation in a chat room, where cryptic whispers spread like wildfire. Users spoke of the enigmatic black market mystery boxes, said to contain unimaginable horrors and secrets. The allure of the unknown tugged at my curiosity, and the temptation to order one of these boxes grew impossible to resist. After days of navigating the intricate web of proxies and encrypted messages, I managed to place an order for a black market mystery box. The transaction was shrouded in secrecy, and the price I paid was steep, but I was intoxicated by the thrill of the forbidden. Weeks passed, and my anticipation grew as I awaited the arrival of the box that was promised to me. My mind was consumed by thoughts of what it might contain. The dark web rumors ranged from bizarre artifacts to illegal contraband, and even the macabre, a human finger. The day the package arrived, I felt a mix of excitement and dread. It was a nondescript cardboard box, slightly larger than a shoebox, with no return address or markings. Goosebumps prickled my skin as I held the heavy parcel in my trembling hands. The curiosity that had driven me here now whispered for me to open it. Carefully, I sliced through the tape and lifted the lid. The first thing that met my gaze was a foul, nauseating odor. My heart raced, and I fought back the urge to retch. Peering inside, I discovered an assortment of objects that defied all reason. Nestled among bizarre trinkets and eerie photographs was a glass jar containing a human finger, shriveled and desiccated. It was a gruesome sight, but the shock of the discovery paralyzed me. My mind raced with 1,000 questions, foremost among them: whose finger was this, and how had it ended up in my possession? Desperation led me back to the dark web, where I sought answers and stumbled upon a labyrinthine network of forums and chat rooms dedicated to dissecting the enigma of the black market mystery boxes. Some claimed the contents were the result of crimes unspeakable, while others believed they were products of elaborate hoaxes. The more I delved into this web of darkness, the more obsessed I became with uncovering the truth behind the finger in the jar. It was as if an insatiable hunger for answers had taken hold of my very soul. I reached out to others who had ordered similar boxes, hoping to piece together the puzzle. As the days turned into weeks, my quest led me to a chilling revelation. There were those who believed that the boxes were not just random assortments of horrors, but carefully orchestrated traps, designed to ensnare and torment those who dared to venture into the darkness. They spoke of a malevolent force that relished in our fear and despair. The finger in the jar became an ominous symbol of the darkness that had infiltrated my life. I couldn't escape the feeling that I was being watched, that the malevolent force behind the boxes was closing in on me. Paranoia gnawed at my sanity as I became consumed by the sinister mystery that had taken over my existence. In the end, I had no choice but to rid myself of the cursed box. I buried it deep in the woods, hoping to sever the connection that had ensnared me. But the darkness lingered, a constant reminder that there are forces in the world far beyond our comprehension, lurking in the shadows of the digital realm, waiting to ensnare the curious and the foolish. My life will never be the same. The mystery of the black market mystery boxes remains unsolved, and the finger in the jar haunts my nightmares. I have learned a chilling lesson. Some secrets are better left buried in the depths of the dark web, for once you venture into that abyss, there may be no escape from the horrors that await. I had always heard rumors and whispers about the mysterious and forbidden world of the dark web. Tales of illegal dealings, hackers, and sinister secrets had piqued my curiosity. Tonight, fueled by a strange blend of curiosity and naivety, I decided to take the plunge. With trembling fingers, I downloaded the necessary software and followed the cryptic instructions that had been whispered to me in hushed voices on online forums. The journey into the abyss had begun. The dark web was a labyrinth of hidden websites, each more sinister than the last. It was a place where anonymity reigned supreme, and the boundaries between right and wrong blurred into obscurity. As I ventured deeper into this digital underworld, I couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. My journey led me to a site known only as the Shadows Playground. Its homepage was a mosaic of disturbing images, and its tagline read, "Explore the depths of your darkest fears." It was an invitation I couldn't resist. As I navigated through the twisted corridors of the site, I discovered a forum titled The Auction House of Despair. Here, users bartered and traded in the most macabre of commodities, human suffering. The posts were filled with cryptic descriptions, promising unimaginable horrors for the highest bidder. One particular listing caught my eye, an auction for a custom nightmare experience. The description was chillingly detailed, promising to make the buyer's darkest fears a reality. The price, however, was beyond exorbitant. It was as if the seller knew that only the most desperate or deranged would even consider it. Unable to resist the morbid curiosity that gnawed at me, I contacted the seller using a disposable email address. Within hours, I received a response, an encrypted message filled with instructions, riddles, and sinister promises. My journey led me to a remote cabin in the heart of a dense, foreboding forest. The air was thick with an oppressive darkness, and the silence was deafening. As I entered the cabin, I felt an overwhelming sense of dread wash over me. The seller had instructed me to wait in this eerie place, alone and vulnerable. Time seemed to stretch into infinity as I sat there, my anxiety growing with each passing moment. It was then that I heard it, the faintest whisper like a soft breath against my ear. Panic coursed through me as I realized I was not alone. The cabin's walls seemed to come alive with grotesque apparitions, phantoms from my own nightmares. They whispered my deepest fears and insecurities, their voices growing louder and more menacing with every passing second. I was trapped in a waking nightmare, unable to escape the horrors that surrounded me. Just as I felt myself teetering on the brink of madness, the cabin's door swung open, and blinding light poured in. I stumbled out into the forest, gasping for breath and drenched in sweat. The cabin was empty, its sinister inhabitants nothing more than phantoms of my tortured mind. I had ventured too deep into the web of darkness, and the scars of that night would haunt me forever. The dark web had shown me the true extent of human depravity and the terror that lurks in the shadows of our digital world. It was a journey I would regret for the rest of my days, a reminder that some secrets are better left undiscovered, and some darknesses should never be explored.